Yep. And continue playing from where we left off. Let's zoom out just a little bit more, give an overview of the situation. There's Luxembourg. There's Metz. We're trying to encircle Metz. We've taken Strasbourg. Oh, this is Vichy? I don't know. We want to see about taking that. And of course, we want to eventually push down and besiege Paris here. Excuse me. Just get the basic understanding. So these forts are a bit difficult to take. So what we're going to do here is move up here. Let's max points 95. We're going to use up our points fast. So for next turn, we will be ready to hit this. We might be able to take, we could take it this turn, but it'd be expensive. And I don't know that I want to pay the expense. Now we attacked, oh, we haven't attacked that yet. This turn, okay. Okay, so we're taking out MacMahon. He was one of the major French marshals, which I know almost nothing about. Okay, you know everything about history. God, no. And we also want to take Florinville? I don't know. Because we need to take all of these green star marked hexes to really properly be strangling Paris of supplies. Will be a next turn. We could shoot now. Well, let's try this. Oh, did we move? Yeah, I guess we did move. Okay. Goes. Okay. Yeah, we did move. That's right. Okay, so next turn we fire. Boy, getting confused already. It's old age. It's setting in. Yes, yes, I know. We have to worry a bit about our supplies here in the rear. It's just a regiment, that's why it's so there. Hoping that this would be a little well done. And they shattered. Very good. Very good. That opens the way. Keep supply lines open, all those good kinds of things. Rail and roads are important in this game for supply. They can make it to there, so these guys up from the rear. These guys are going to come to here. Ooh. Here we have heavily damaged units. See what we can do to improve that situation. Now here, okay, this army's gonna, this group is gonna circle around that way. I think we're pretty good there. I think we're good holding here. We need to take on these guys and push around the south. So yeah, do that. I think here we'll also take the time and the expense. Hey Ari, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for coming and joining me at this. As we try to crush the French. And set up a lot of expectations for the First World War that then, here. Yeah. Well, there's French there. Let's move you down here. And hey, Cole, how you doing? Had superior rifles and artillery. Could you play the French? Oh, absolutely. You can play either side. It actually defaulted to the French side, but and I'm not sure if there's a particular side they expect the player to play, because sometimes games, the AI is coded. The initial campaign was to be a French offensive that doesn't work out, but really most of it is a French defensive campaign. The AI seems to be able to handle that pretty well, so I don't know if there's a great thing. Now, I would say, Cole, the Prussians definitely had the superior artillery in their 6-pounders. They were breech loaders, so they were the French were using muzzleloader artillery. I think maybe a bit heavier of a projectile, but the rates of fire, the increased accuracy of the Prussian guns, I would definitely say was an advantage. But the Dreise needle rifle, I'm hoping I'm getting the pronunciation, it's using a cartridge, but a paper cartridge. It's not like the old muskets that you have to bite and take the paper cartridge out and stuff it down the barrel, that kind of thing. No, you just put it in the back, but the needle rifle doesn't seal up as well. and it's a single shot, where the French are using the chassepot, which is a single shot metallic cartridge. Both are black powder, but so it's a black powder metallic cartridge. It isn't up yet to the label with the smokeless powder. But so single shot, but metallic cartridge. So both single shots. So I sort of kind of don't know that it's heavily rifle in favor. The Prussians. So on that thing, then the French have the I'm gonna butcher it here. Starts with like mitraille or something like that. I don't know. It's a volley fire proto machine gun, about the same size as the 1860s, 1870s version of the Gatling gun, because they did make some smaller, lighter Gatling guns a bit later, late 1870s, early 1890s, or 1880s, I should say. But so it's on a light artillery carriage kind of thing, and you put a sort of a honeycomb-like thing into the breech of it, and you move a lever, and it fires a volley of rounds at the enemy. They're again coming from a metallic cartridge. So instead of like a Gatling gun, it's more to shoot. So it does a volley. So they had a proto machine gun, but unfortunately, from everything that I've heard about the weapon, they were trying to keep it as much a secret as possible. Not so much, I don't think, its existence, but trying to keep its effectiveness or whatever a secret. So it was, prior to the war starting, it was not widely distributed amongst the French army. So it takes considerable amount of time to get an army to understand and do something like a new weapon, like a completely, not just like a new version of a bolt action weapon, but to understand how it changes. So not just the operation, but the, shall we say, tactical employment and the effective, tactical employment interacting with other units takes quite a while to get that organized. And that just wasn't a thing within the French army. They're just dragging out these new wonder weapon, which were cool, but not that cool. And so it just sort of comes along there, and it doesn't really have that big of an impact. So, like the Char-B and the U.S. gyro, so secret, no one on their side knows how to use it. Yes, in essence, and like the Char-B, sometimes they didn't. I don't think the troops knew about the second gasoline tank or something, because I think there's 2 gasoline tanks on it. So they were, not refilling them properly or something, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. It was, a secret wonder weapon coming out. The accuracy coming at, firing a bunch of rounds at once, especially when we're still talking in this time frame, where cavalry is still an effective main field, mounted weapon. So by saying that means you have to keep your troops close together. Now and I don't know a lot about it tactically, but the French were still using basically Napoleonic tactics, columns and lines, moving in a column. I don't think they were attacking in a column at this period like they were in the Napoleonic Wars, but line formations, where the Prussians were using more, a group of men. So it's from quickly reading on Wikipedia, so I'm not claiming anything more than that. They don't appear to be coming to a battlefield, and these are brigades, bringing out a lot of battalions all in line of march and moving up, more as grouped together, so that and they're a larger force because you're combining the Prussians with the like Northern German Confederation, and since it was an offensive attack, the secret alliance that they had with the Southern German Confederation, that the French declared the war, they came in it. They have a larger army. So in many cases, and they're still trying to, maybe a bit more than this game will allow for, trying to do a big mass Waterloo type battles, instead of spreading the soldiers out everywhere, sort of keeping them together. That the Prussians are able to envelop often the French, move around their flanks and do that a lot better. So, this is a war that production, to the best of my knowledge, really doesn't mean anything. This is a war that is fought with the equipment on hand at the start of the war. I'm sure they produced their rifles on both sides or whatever once war was declared, and I'm absolutely sure that they produced. Well, let's go to here. Let's be cautious, gamer. That they produced munitions once the war starts, but I don't really think they were that's really a factor in this war. Well, it's in the transition period, that is for sure. And I totally know what you mean by the last of sort of the traditional. We're seeing the transition. It's starting. It's all, it's flowing at all times, but really, if we're moving from the last, top level technology war and a major war that uses the flintlock musket are the Napoleonic Wars, with culminating in the Battle of the Waterloo and, sort of the sideshow of the War of 1812 with America. That's the last of it. You have the very brief period from right about 1820 to right about 1850 or so of cap, a cap block instead of a flintlock, using like the American, well into the 1860s, using the American Civil War, where we're seeing cap lock muskets being used, and we're starting to see in the American Civil War, but also the use of railways. Gatling guns are not really a factor. They exist absolutely in the American Civil War, but they're not I don't think there's any major engagement won or lost because of Gatling guns. So we're coming through there, and particularly the Prussians used the railways very, very well in mobilizing and setting up this war. Tactical and technical, yeah. This is an evolutionary war, and this is right in amidst that evolution of tactics and weapons and how they're coming together. So, and I found out Sunday that I was going to be the one streaming this. So yes, I've read some Wikipedia articles just before this. So, and I don't know a lot about it either. I remember from my European history class and talking about it some, but not a whole lot. So I'm not claiming to be an expert. Just that I read a bit about it and sort of analyze it. And I've always known this, and it reinforced reading how much this sets things up. The Prussians are moving around through this time period, through the advance through this war, and are being sniped at by French militia units in towns, often with little or no uniforms being worn. So that affects, these events happening affects World War I, which I've read about, very much so that the Germans in World War I are expecting to encounter large numbers of French irregulars. They don't. but they're expecting it. And they're already sort of expecting to have harsh treatment of these sort of irregulars. Well, they run into Belgian irregulars, riflemen, because like Switzerland and Belgium, from basically the 1860s, 1870s, as rifles are coming about, both Switzerland and Belgium are very much trying to do a people's militia training of rifles and shooting competitions and whatnot, promoting in their country as a part of defense. So you get the very harsh, what we would call war crimes today of lynching anybody captured with a weapon in Belgium. And even if you're just, if you're not in a truly official military uniform, you just may have an armband or something on, and you no even proof that you've even fired at a German soldier, they lynch you, things like that. So the frontier, and so they're worried about that coming in, and that mostly doesn't happen, as far as I know, in France, but happens in Belgium. So this all flows into, and then of course you get what becomes Alsace-Lorraine in here as sort of a concession over to the German Empire that Germany occupies and then loses in World War I, and then one of the cause celebs for World War II is we need to get the lost territory back. So all this really plays into a big flow of history, and that's why I like talking about these games. I like playing these games because I get to talk about history, and it really all flows in with each other. Okay, just a regiment. Well, let me occupy that road. We're out of MPP to reinforce. We're going to wait next turn. Okay. So again, no, we moved too far forward here. Okay. Sir John Burgoyne helps the Empress Eugenie escape to England. Now, for some reason, and I don't know the conditions, I was going to saying something else, but they've already deposed Napoleon III in this scenario, but we haven't forced either the surrender of Metz or defeating the relief army of Metz. So that was pretty damaging with artillery support backup. So that sort of happened a little ahead of schedule, at least for the developments on the battlefield. I don't know so much for the dates. Right, okay, so now we're going to try to bring down this fortress here, because as you can see here. Oh, and what I was going to say, I really love what they're doing with this. This is literally, I have 2 hours into this game from yesterday that I got the code to download it 7 minutes before I was to go live, literally. So I got it just installed and started up yesterday, and haven't played it since the live stream. If you want to check that out later, the VOD is still up on Slytherin TV, or you can check it out on my YouTube channel. It will be posted. Well, first episode is posted there. More will be posted. But I really love what they've done for like Strategic Command World War I with the additional DLCs of the Ludendorff Offensive and the Schlieffen Plan. So here, if you already own this is a free DLC for Strategic Command American Civil War. So this is a whole new game, quite honestly. It's and it's the whole sort of Franco-Prussian War here, down at the brigade level, and it's free if you own the base game already. So I love that they do this to really help out, and there is a big talk about, wow. Well, I knew I was going to be streaming it Sunday, and it was sort of a mad rush for them to get it, because I know Bill and Herbert from Fury Software, the developers of the software, and I talked to them online Sunday and letting them know, so that there was a rush to get all the thing up and encoded and ready to go by the end of Monday for me to Monday workday for them in Europe, for them to do it. So they were all sort of mad rushing around trying to get this stuff going, because they knew I was scheduled to stream it yesterday at this time. So yeah, it was that kind of thing that and it was, the fallback was, of course, just to play the standard game if they couldn't get it to me in time. So yeah, so I love that they're giving you this, free extra game here, and we're gonna shoot all 4 rounds because I would like one more round. Okay, I would like to not have too many. Oh shit, that's gonna be a lot of losses. Well, I need this for it because we've already saw losing. Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm already losing troops there from. Okay. Well. We're gonna have to fall back because we can hold down, hit Hesse. This is our current supply capabilities. Hit S again. We'll see what it is next turn. And so being up here was no supply, and then we'll turn that off. Ouch. Okay. We fired all 4 shells, which was a good thing to try to reduce the entrenchment of this. But that just really painfully hurt. They can move in now. Here, these guys. Oh man. Want the second artillery piece up here. Got railways here. If I do railway movement, I mean, it's going to take a couple of turns from either here or here. Well, let's at least get it back on the railway. Now here, we're going to try this again. Well, maybe this would have been better here, because we got 3 rounds here. And expend ammunition. Reduce their effectiveness. Okay. This, we have way too big of an army necessary to take this. All right. There we go. Now we will move up these forces. I'm going to leave you right where you are because you're on the railway. Hello, Frere Oakenshield. Thanks for being a subscriber here. Thanks for showing up. So we've taken that out, which will, of course, get, with the railway, much more supply coming forward. Now here, down like that. Then I want to put out in the broad plains out here, I want to put pressure on the French. Take out McMahon's HQ here. Okay. There we go. They got trapped. They couldn't get out. Now here, let's just move you to here. Move the crown prince up along there. So next turn we're going to try to take this. I know we might be able to grind it out. It's theoretically possible, but best wait for a bombardment to open that up. I've got to get to here to try to get Metz to surrender as well as here. So that I think is a necessary. So moving that way. Could force march some of these units. So you can click on them a second time. You can only force march into territory that you own. But you reduce its readiness, and if we really don't, but it really isn't an emergency, I don't think it's a good idea to force march these units. There might be enough. Let's prepare that as well. Reinforce it. Hey, thanks for following us. Do appreciate it. Yeah, we'll come up with that. Help fill in the gaps, as it were. No, there's a force up here. Now, way up here, let's see. Yeah, we have enough points, so let's see where we want to send it. We could come here to swing around the south. Yeah, that looks like a good plan. Yeah. Okay. What's our current 300? Okay. Yeah, we'll just move you up. We can look at purchasing division now. Yeah, let's purchase a division here. Use up all the rest of our MPP. But I think we're good. Yeah, we're suffering more attrition. We're falling back. Okay, U.S. generals Sheridan and Forsyth are attached to the Prussian staff, as I presume observers. Yeah, they're bombarding our besieging forces. Okay, now I'm not going to keep bashing my. This is well strengthened. We can see readiness and morale. If we were to use this, gets to there. Yeah, I guess we need to. Fortunately, we do not have good railway connection right into there. Maybe we should have used some of this other artillery back here. That's probably what I should have done, is use this gun instead of that gun. Oh well. You guys can learn from my mistakes. Okay, now down here. Okay, we've got 4 shells, and again, we're going to use the shells. So you can see look down here, we can reduce readiness at 50, morale at 70. Now it's 46.63. And so that looks like it has the best to do effective crushing. And we've taken it. Very good. Now here, it left us a gap. These forces right to here. There we go, and here we do have the roads for supplies open. So we're not doing what I was doing over here, moving too far forward, and they're not allowing me to move out because we've lost action points because we're starving. Oh god, I hate when this happens. Spend our points. Do what we can. Okay, you're not getting well enough supplied, neither are they. Right. And you move stuff from the back is best if you're going to move it by railroad. You can come to there. We're going to move up some more forces. Now let's take a look at the supply here. Okay. Next turn we would have some supply if we come down and around this way. So that's what we'll do. That. Let's move in. Do we want to attack this too? No. What we want to do is sort of force them to either retreat or attack me. Moving slowly through the forests and hills. Wait, I need to make something so I speak clearer. Always when you with strategic command, whenever you can, if you can eliminate a unit, because if you don't, sure they can rebuild it, and it's going to cost a lot of MPP, but that's near immediate. and you know, you have attritional warfare with that for sure going on, but if you can truly eliminate a unit, they can rebuild it, but you can see, you know, purchase time to the deployment time, you really take it off the field for a while. So you want to do that whenever you can. Yeah, I don't know if that guy's just going to die there for lack of supply. Unfortunately, I think I need to do this. Even as I begin to pull another unit off the map. Momentum of movement up and all of those good things. Might be able to move a fresh unit up to shift click. Yeah, maybe that's what I should have done. We can still maybe try that this time, this next time here. They're not fresh, but they have supply. So I have 0 supply actually. Okay, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I sort of once in a while get units a little too probe deep like that. Now, if I'd taken the fortress, and I think it might be better to wait next turn and try to use more shells, volleys as we move up these other forces. We'll see. Hopefully I'll save the unit. I have expectations of doing so. It's just frustrating. I get the idea that lack of supply, they don't move, but yeah, okay, and I understand the difference here is we're moving into plains versus moving into hills. But I don't know that, or across rivers, but across the hills, I don't know that should be enough that you can't at least do a minimum of 1 hex movement kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. The horses are actually worse than the men to try to do that on. Men are tougher than horses. At least that's all of my reading about warfare, dealing with, you know, marching soldiers, whether it's going back to, you know, the classical era up until like the Civil War. The care and feeding and maintenance of horses, where for short periods of, you know, horses are tough when they're in good shape, and they start to fall apart quickly, and then they may never, even if they live through it, they may never recover. Where men will mostly recover. If it's just you know, a few days, no food, marching all the time, men are going to do better than horses, especially in these kinds of conditions. Now, they might dismount and walk the horses, but, you know, if you're pulling artillery or pulling wagons, or you're carrying a man on your back, plus not eating kind of thing, really, really messes up the horses more so. So yeah, get units stuck far out in front of American. So yeah, yeah, I understand. You got to sort of watch that. Like I had anticipated by now to being taken this fortress. I thought 1 barrage and then we would be able to assault, and maybe bloodily, but take it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to need all these forces up here, but I just feel I got to take this position to effectively swing around Metz here. From the north, though we're doing well coming through the center here. And I must say, I think this scale works a little better than the Civil War scale for these units. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know I'm enjoying this and I'm liking this game. Yeah, more attrition losses, yes. Another. I thought we would have better supply come here. We may need to retreat back up a ways there. I just presumed road. Okay. Funding of proper medical facilities improves French soldiers' morale. Well, good. They're shifting forces. I was going to say withdrawing, but no. Okay, they're bombarding our besieging forces. Will that be enough, and will we be able to get this other force out? I don't know. But we're moving up here. We're pushing through. Okay, come down to here. These guys. Well, again, let's look at supply. Yeah, we're just outrunning our supply, so let's fall back one. Little stronger unit, absorb the damage a little better, keep the forces together. Put the pressure on them. Move up here to hopefully supply some of the stuff even better. Right, okay, who do we have in the rear that we can just move up and slaughter these guys with? Hurry up effectively. All right, well, that's keeping this part of the yeah, tough fort for sure. Keeping this part of the front moving. Linking around. Now, don't get me wrong, I do, generally speaking, like the way they handle supplies here. It's just sort of annoying in this case of not being able to get supplies through, and I'm now in a mode of checking. Okay, I just wanted to see if we moved into here, how that was going to function. I think we knew enough to not to believe that there was nobody there, though I'm not believing that's nobody there. Well, I guess maybe there's nobody in there. Oh, well, okay, well, we've taken one of the positions we need to putting pressure on Metz. We've still got to move forward and deal with Paris eventually here, but let's reinforce this. It's useful to keep the HQs somewhat near the front. It helps with those supply issues. Okay, now we've learned our lesson. We really don't want to plunge down through here. Though it is sort of important to put pressure here. I don't know that we're going to move down another one of the guns to try to take down here. So, and we can maybe move around, bypass some of these forts. So we'll see about that. But that tells me the next best option is to move up this way. I don't know that we need the HQ down that way either, so maybe it's better to go this other way. Trying to look at the proper goals and objectives of our forces and keep those in mind. Okay, I think that is all I want to do this turn with the forces I have available. Okay, yeah, oh hell. Can I airlift supplies in? That could quite help them either. Yeah, okay. Hope they'll be able to turn the tables on them, though. Okay, now here, can these guys... No, they can't get out, damn. Okay, and these guys... We got 2 shells. Next turn. Oh, man. Nothing there. Now down here, where you messed up my forces, well... I hurt badly, but I'm hoping... no. We'll get a punishing attack, I guess. Well, the French moved a surprising amount of documents out of Paris by balloon during the siege, so maybe airlift the general's best brandy. Okay, that's not the craziest thing I've heard. Okay, if they're leaving Nancy open, that may be getting there. That maybe help supply? That may do it. Okay, weaken this too, though. We gotta hold that for sure, but I think we can sort of maybe do that. Yeah, I think we'll go for this cutting the railway junction. I guess they're using coming all the way down around here to get up to there, but still, we'll be able to hopefully move into there. Now here, we have a fair amount of MPP, so let's have 2 siege guns coming in September. Yeah. Yeah, let's. Yes, yes, we know you're dying. Come on, just walk out of there. Okay, yes, this is Koblenz and Koblenz. Right. Very useful. So was that. These guys are going to strike. Oh, good. And we got them. Yay. Okay, situation saved. Move these guys up to there. Move these guys through to here. Because now we have not rail links back into Germany, but we do have road links back in through here. So this should be next turn. Okay, basic level of supply. Very good. And we can now get that up a tiny bit. Okay, relieved. Yes, finally. Finally down. and supply. They would be enough. Let's just move to there. Well, they decided to move in. This is sort of equivalent of the relief attempt for Metz. Keep them from being fully enveloped. Move up the artillery. Now here, well, yeah, the cavalry unit will survive, both of them. That is definitely good news. Well, these guys will come down, and now we have rail links all the way down to here, so they're in good shape. So, I mean, they're not maybe overly lost half their strength, but their supply lines will be good next turn. So, for occupying territory, that's acceptable. Now down here, things aren't looking well. What we're going to do is we're just going to sort of hold territory for the moment. Make them worry about things here. Does the AI worry? I wonder. What to do with this artillery? Now, my understanding is there is a 20% chance, I think it is, per turn. Once I get all of these green starred hexes controlled, so it's going to take me a little while to get there strong enough to take it, if they leave something there, that is. Hello, Uter. Yeah, I was torn whether to try to use the counters or the 3D models, the sprites. I'm sort of a counters guy myself, but I do sort of realize the visual appeal to a lot of people of this, so I'm torn. Cutting the rail line to tool will help. Yes, down here we are talking about, I think, well, wherever. Oh, here, yeah. Cutting this here. So yeah, I'm torn on it. Okay, I wonder how many folks did not follow their state's viewpoints of the Civil War and join the opposing side. There's definitely some. I know, since, I mean, obviously this is the Franco-Prussian War, but we are talking about the American Civil War game here. There was a significant Copperhead movement in the North, particularly, I would say, the sort of northwest of the states, not northwest of the United States, but of the states. There was a fair Copperhead, and Copperheads were Southern sympathizers, not necessarily like because they didn't have any. Yay, we want to enslave people. It was, at least my understanding, it was, why are we fighting Americans over this? You know, why are we killing people over this kind of thing? Now in the South, most soldiers, Southern soldiers, did not own slaves. Most Southern soldiers had no ambition or no real thoughts in life like, well, someday I'm going to get rich and buy me some slaves. I don't think that was the case. I think they saw it as an attack upon their homeland, and which was the state at the time. Because prior to the American Civil War, it was these United States. It's almost exclusively called these in all written documents. After the Civil War, it is the United States. So, and other types of things we can look at this. So yes, the cause that triggered the war is over slavery. Not trying to shy away from that, and slavery is bad. If I need to, hello, highwayman. Need to state that that's not any sort of thing there, and I'm not trying to make those kind of judgments. I'm looking at, because of your question, yes, this is, although we're playing the Franco-Prussian, this is the American Civil War, so it's a reasonable question to ask and look at. My understanding from the books that I've read, and I've read, well, I would say at least 20 books on the Civil War. I've watched the Ken Burns documentary. I've read I have the three volume set of Shelby Foote's histories of the Civil War that Ken Burns used as his framework for his series. But I've watched the series, and I haven't completed any one of the 3 books, but I've read significant chunks from them. So I'm moderately well read on the American Civil War. In the South, they really saw this as an attack upon their homeland, and fought it for that reason, not for many of the actual foot soldiers, for the owning of slaves. And I think, to a point, a lot of them saw, well, if they can force us to get rid of the slaves, what else can they force us to do also? Where is states' rights versus, human rights, or whatever we want to say. And again, I'm not trying to give a moral justification for the Confederacy on slavery. That, not at all. So I think you have a higher level. I don't know if the Confederacy, and one thing I just don't know, maybe somebody does know, was there conscription in the Confederacy? Because there's definitely conscription going on in the North. Was there conscription going on in the Confederacy? I don't know if there was. And there were also, in places like New York City, anti-conscription riots. So I don't know. I think there was a lot of people seeing the North as invaders, foreign invaders, if you will. In the South, the Confederates were seeing that. Okay, we just may very well need some of these. I know these are mainly attack values for forts. So, but yeah, I think we will grab one of these guys. No. Yeah, purchase. Uh, CSA citizens called up for 3 years. Okay, Uter, thank you. I wasn't sure on that. There's a whole brigade made up of people of different viewpoints and then their states. Well, okay. Now, yes, in the particularly in the border states of Kentucky, Maryland, Tennessee's going to the Confederacy, Missouri, you find the first Kentucky in the north and the first Kentucky in the south. Kind of units, meaning going for either side. So in the border states, you definitely see there, but I would say that those are conflicted states at its core, anyways. So yes, not sure the desertion was a huge problem for both the North and the Confederates. So yeah, hi PS, and hello. Lissa Drake? I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm butchering that. Yeah, and for like, I don't know, you get the early on in the war with the Union, the call up, the 90 days that Lincoln called up. And then you get a lot of enthusiastic volunteers for hooray the war. They think they're just going to go off to have a big battle and not die, and the war will be won or lost in some big battle. So early on in the Confederacy, and then the war continues to drag on and on and on. So you get desertion just because of that. So but does that mean that they on either side, PS, that they don't support their cause? It just may be this war is dragging on and on and on, and I want to go home. With your Supreme Court makeup, you may get back to these United States. Well, I'm not going to go into American politics, modern American politics here now. I might do that on my own channel, but slithering is not the place to do it. I'll talk about the historical, and the reason we're talking about the Confederacy and the American Civil War is because this is based on the American Civil War game, so that I will do so. In April 18, I think you meant Jefferson, I think you meant 1862, Jefferson conscription. I had to look at, yeah, okay, yeah, no time travel. Yeah, so yeah. And I'll definitely say that there is the United States there's strong divided opinions right now, and so yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. So well, mentioning that, what I like to do, and I don't particularly talk a lot about modern politics, current politics, but I do like to play historical games and talk about the history around them. And yes, thanks for bringing up Highwayman. There's my YouTube channel. You'll actually find the start of this playthrough there right now, because I just released it, scheduled for release at starting at the beginning of this stream, so that those people can see the DLC for Franco-Prussian War. Oh, did the YouTube twice, sorry. No, I'm supposed to hit copy, not paste. Copy. Here we go. Yeah, here's my Twitch channel, which I stream mostly for myself on the weekends over there. I'm Gamer1745, as you may know from the title here, but I love being on Slithering TV, but I do my own stuff as well. So I talk about the history and play the games, and I love it. I think I'm a moderately good player of most of these games, but I think I'm a rather decent person prattling on about history and whatnot around the games that I play. Okay, okay, these guys just came in this turn. I remember that's sort of off topic, but okay, so they're going to come up. We'll move them up by train. We have 110 MPP left. We are getting nearly to surrounding Metz. Now, okay, yeah, just looking at the time.